Have you ever felt that people are drawn to you not for who you are, but for what you provide? The praise, the attention, even the love you receive often carries a quiet expectation beneath its surface. In a world where every gesture hides a motive, the true danger is not that others want something from you, but that you forget to guard what you give. As Machiavelli once warned, mercy without calculation is merely an invitation to be used. So, how do you stay open without being devoured? Stay with me, and let's uncover the quiet art of holding your value without apology. 1. Know what they want from you. Every person who approaches you comes bearing a quiet confession, whether cloaked in admiration, urgency, or affection. Each gesture reveals a desire, and desire, when seen clearly, is not a burden to carry, but a map to influence. The colleague who constantly seeks your insight is not merely interested in your opinion, he is acknowledging that your thoughts shape the room more than his. The partner who longs for your attention is not simply in love, she's admitting that your absence can shake the foundation of her certainty. The family member who demands your time is revealing that your hours are more valuable than his own in all these interactions. The Stoic sees not chaos, not sentiment, but a quiet order beneath the noise. Where there is need, there is leverage in the economy of life. Everything given freely is still counted. A wise person does not tally to punish others, but to remain lucid. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, observe what is happening with clarity and without complaint. To be clear-eyed is not to be cold, it is to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Those who cry foul when you begin to measure your value were often the first to measure you. They drink from your well without asking, and disappear when the well runs dry. This is not cruelty, it is human nature unexamined. The Stoic does not resent it. He merely recognizes it and adjusts accordingly. Begin by identifying what you truly possess: your knowledge, your calm, your reputation, your network, your presence, your silence, your ability to act or to abstain. These are not abstract qualities, they are assets. Treat them not with vanity, but with awareness. Seneca taught us that true power lies in understanding the resources within our control. Now observe the world around you. Who seeks approval? Who needs access? Who desires belonging, credibility, or clarity? When you link what you have with what others seek, you do not exploit, you restore balance. You are no longer the tree endlessly plucked, but the gardener who decides when and where to cultivate. This is not manipulation. It is maturity. Life, at its root, is exchange. Nature trades sunlight for growth. Communities trade order for obedience. Even friendship is a quiet trade of presence, of loyalty, of attention. To pretend otherwise is not noble, it is naive. The Stoic learns to give without depletion, to help without surrendering agency, and to serve without forgetting the dignity of self-preservation. So do not apologize for becoming aware. Instead, refine your awareness. Practice it without malice but with firmness. You are not currency for others to spend. You are a sovereign being, entrusted with your own resources. Guard them well, use them wisely, and when the world comes asking for a piece of you, do not flinch. Smile calmly, as Epictetus would. And remember, you are no longer reacting from lack. You are responding from strength. 2. Master scarcity and silence in the theater of power. The Stoic learns early that presence must be deliberate, not continuous. That which is always within reach is rarely held in reverence. Scarcity, when guided by intention rather than fear, is not manipulation. It is discipline. The sage does not disappear to be missed. He withdraws to sharpen, to remind the world, through absence, that his presence is never to be taken for granted. This is not withdrawal from duty, but refinement of value. As Epictetus taught, the wise man trains not to be constantly seen, but to be unshakable when he chooses to appear. Observe how craftsmen guard their finest works. Not everything is for display. Not every insight must be spoken. The Stoic recognizes that value increases when it is no longer assumed. Consider how the most desired luxuries are never found on every shelf. Their power lies not in their function, but in their rarity. Now, apply this to yourself. When you're constantly available, you teach others to expect you without effort. But when you retreat and return with greater clarity, skill, or composure, you show that your presence is a conscious gift, not a default setting. This is not about arrogance, it is about order. Just as winter strengthens the roots while hiding the bloom, your quiet withdrawal is not emptiness, but cultivation. When you re-enter, you bring with you something time cannot counterfeit: growth. And those who once overlooked your constancy will lean in with new respect. They will wonder where you've been. They will question how you changed. And in that quiet uncertainty, your influence expands. Silence, too, is not merely the absence of speech. It is the sharpening of awareness. In a world addicted to noise, the man who speaks little commands more than the one who speaks constantly. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The Stoic speaks only when necessary, only when useful, not out of shyness, but sovereignty. Silence allows him to see while remaining unseen. It draws words from others while revealing none of his own. This is not concealment, it is self-command. When asked about your intentions, offer questions, not answers. When they pry into your thoughts, guide the conversation toward theirs. Let them reveal their hand while yours remains still. In every gathering, those who speak least are often those whom others watch most. Why? Because mystery forces the world to project value where there is stillness, and projection, when left unchallenged, becomes perception. Perception, in time, becomes power. So peak less, appear less, and when you do so with precision. Be the one who returns not to catch up, but to redefine the standard. The one whose silence holds more weight than another's declaration. This is not performance. It is principle. You do not need to shout to be heard. You need only to master absence so that your return becomes unforgettable. That is the Stoic art of commanding without chasing, of leading without noise. Be rare, be clear, be silent until necessary. 3. Shape how they see you. Perception always outruns truth. Therefore, the Stoic does not wait for the world to recognize his worth. He shapes it, not through lies, but through discipline, like a sculptor chiseling from stone. You must craft your reputation with intent, removing what weakens, revealing only what strengthens. Let your uniqueness shine not in boast, but in consistency. Let your rarity speak through what you withhold, not what you offer freely. Declare your victories. Cloak your setbacks. The prince once ruled through spectacle. Today, you rule through narrative. Where crowds once watched parades, now they scroll. Let what they see be purposeful. Let your presence online and in person carry evidence, not explanation. Power speaks in results. Explanation belongs to those begging for leniency. Do not hoard influence. Coordinate it. Build goodwill like a reservoir and release it only when the return will echo. A single endorsement can trigger a chain of doors. One introduction can reshape your reach. One secret, whispered at the right time, can quiet 10 competitors. Do not spend power to impress. Spend it to advance. The amateur burns favors to feel important. The strategist waits until the timing compounds impact. Where others see moments, you must see ripple effects. Understand the gravity of fear, but apply it with stoic restraint. There are moments when potential harm speaks louder than promised reward. The colleague who steals from you sees only your silence. Unaware it is calculated, let them feel the pressure of your awareness, and their own thoughts will torment them more than your words ever could. This is not cruelty, it is governance, as Machiavelli advised. Harshness should be quick. Mercy should linger. Strike with lightning, not thunder. Guide with calm, not coercion. You are not here to destroy, but to direct, to lead others. Do not shout. Offer clarity in a world addicted to confusion. People crave direction. Frame your ambition not as conquest, but as alignment. Let them believe they rise with you. Craft a message so clean, so resonant, that they call you visionary rather than manipulative. But do not lose yourself in their applause. Reciprocate loyalty only as long as it fuels movement. When it stalls, sever it clean. There is no virtue in carrying what no longer lifts. Power gained by deception collapses. Power earned through value, then guarded by principle, remains. Even Machiavelli, misunderstood by the masses, did not worship deceit. He admired discipline, the kind of excellence that earns willing followers. So become worthy of pursuit. Build skills that create gravity. Let your competence speak first. Audit your circle as a Stoic audits the self. Regularly, without sentiment. Ask who adds and who subtracts. Cut dead weight, not in anger, but in duty. Nostalgia is a poor shield against decline. Empires fall not from lack of strength, but from tolerance of stagnation. Free yourself from obligations born of guilt. Guilt for changing, guilt for rising, guilt for setting boundaries where none once existed. These are the invisible shackles clipped to your drive. Remove them. Your duty is not to comfort the past, but to fulfill your potential. And when comparison arises, use it with wisdom. Proximity shapes perception. Stand beside giants when you need to earn trust by association. Stand alone when you want to define the frame. In a negotiation, let them see you flanked by strength. Before a crowd, let your solitude signal stature. Time is your only irreplaceable currency. Spend it like a sovereign. Those who assume your time is free do not value you. Charge them, not only in money, but in effort, access, or alignment. Watch how quickly they show their truth when the well stops flowing. Entitlement reveals itself in silence. Use these reactions for your next decision. And yes, expect resistance. A society raised on comfort will call you ruthless for protecting your edge. Let them speak. The lion listens only to the rhythm of his hunt. Do not explain yourself to those who refuse to understand. Let your results speak for you. When crisis arrives, even your critics will return, because outcomes silence speculation. Value commands respect. But even as you rise, remember that the same instincts you govern in others exist within you. The Stoic keeps watch not only on the world, but on himself. Your own pride will whisper that you are the exception, that rules are for others. Refuse that comfort. Recall Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's chosen prince, who bent Italy to his will, but collapsed when fortune shifted. Build your strength, then build your exit. Teach others, spread your assets. Prepare the handoff before the hand trembles. Practice generosity, but practice it precisely. A gift given too freely erodes. A gift given with timing binds. Give enough to create loyalty, never enough to remove dependence. Governments send checks that win votes without solving poverty. Learn from this. Give the tool. Keep the formula. Offer the first step. Hold the rest for those who prove they are rising with you. Blend kindness with clarity. Be warm enough to approach, sharp enough to respect. People sense when power smiles with teeth. Most will never test you. They will remember the shape of your silence. And when challenge arises, use misdirection over war. Let the enemy unravel by their own inertia. Undermine not their body, but their support, their alliances, their rhythm, their confidence. Let their fall look like fate. Let your hands stay clean. The audience will cheer your silence without knowing why. Curate mystery. Tell half your story and let imagination do the rest. Hint at struggle. Never overexpose it. The audience will build the myth stronger than truth ever could. Use failure as fuel. Make your comeback louder than your collapse. People do not remember setbacks. They remember those who kept rising. Build alliances that balance your blind spots. But do not invite rivals into your home. Align with the brilliant, but only those whose purpose does not threaten your own. Structure cooperation so deeply that betrayal becomes unprofitable. Let desire, not paperwork, hold the partnership. Feed your followers wisdom. Inspire with honesty. Motivate with precision. Your power must carry charisma, or it calcifies into tyranny, as Machiavelli warned. Be loved if you can, feared if you must. In modern terms, inspire while advancing. Let your ending be your crescendo. Leave people craving the return. The project completed early. The meeting that ends on fire. The goodbye that closes without smoke. Always exit on a high. Reinvent before you must. Leverage fades. Talent spreads. The jungle keeps evolving. If you do not, it will forget you. Be the one who moves first. Quietly, sharply, unapologetically. You owe no apology for mastering this craft. Nature does not ask forgiveness for claiming what it needs. Neither should you. Your ledger is sacred. Keep it. Price access. Guard your hours. Shape perception. Command narrative. Turn hunger into strength. Admiration into tribute. Presence into permanence. And when the world finally recognizes what you built, do not bask. Climb higher. They wanted something from you. You turned it into a kingdom. That is Stoic mastery in motion. 4. Build what outlives you. To the Stoic mind, power held in the present moment is not enough. True dominion is measured not by how long you reign, but by what remains standing when you are no longer there to command it. Control is fleeting unless it is transferred into architecture. Legacy is not carved in stone, it is etched into systems, minds, and rituals. The wise ruler does not merely hold the throne. He engineers it to remain occupied by his philosophy long after his footsteps fade from its steps. Begin by asking the question few dare to confront. If you vanished tonight, would your influence vanish with you, or would it echo through the habits and systems you shaped? If the machine halts in your absence, then you were never its master. You were merely its operator. The Stoic pursues more than momentary applause. He builds a structure so integrated with his essence that removing him would feel like cutting breath from a living body. There are 2 paths to succession, one through blood. Children not merely raised, but trained as extensions of principle, forged with discipline and bound by clarity. The other through institutional design, craft organizations, platforms, traditions, and frameworks that carry your judgment within them. A founder may die, but when the rituals he created become routine, his presence lingers. A weekly briefing, a yearly summit, a doctrine repeated not from memory, but because it works. Let your ideas be the gravity around which others orbit. Not out of loyalty, but necessity. Embody your philosophy in every process. Stamp it into onboarding, into brand, into language. Let even your silence echo through documents and decisions. The Stoics taught that character is revealed in the smallest choices. So let your legacy be engraved not just in monuments, but in moments. One sentence quoted by protégé, one phrase embedded in every policy. These are your scriptures, quiet, undeniable, permanent. But here lies a deeper lesson. Power sustained without challenge dulls the edge of excellence. As Marcus Aurelius disciplined himself in the face of imperial comfort, so too must you cultivate controlled resistance. Invite rivals not to overthrow, but to sharpen. Let them contest for scraps, not sovereignty. Give them room to maneuver, a public award, a modest contract. Enough for progress, never enough for parity. Their movement keeps your reflexes awake. Their ambition keeps your mind trained. A ruler without rivals grows complacent. A leader with measured challenges remains vigilant. And never forget, applause is dangerous. It flatters the senses and blinds the judgment. Establish a private council. 3 to 5 voices, unafraid to disturb your calm with truth. Not enemies, but guardians of clarity. Let them pierce your pride so that the crowd cannot. Reward honesty more than praise. Criticism given in loyalty is worth more than silence offered in comfort. Seneca warned that blindness in command is chosen ignorance. Do not surround yourself with agreement. Invite confrontation behind closed doors so that your decisions walk into the world clean. This is the paradox. The stronger your influence becomes, the more desperately you need those who are strong enough to question it, not in rebellion, but in service of endurance. For no fortress lasts if its walls are never tested, and no ruler is remembered if his ideas die with his body. So, build not just to win the day. Build to outlive it. Shape not just the moment. Shape the centuries, then, and only then. Can you say that you have truly mastered succession? You have not only lived with power, you have taught the world how to live with your memory. That, in the eyes of the Stoic, is the nearest we ever come to immortality. 5. Master timing and leverage. The world teaches you to act fast, to seize every opportunity the moment it appears, but the Stoic strategist does not lunge. He waits, not out of fear, but from clarity. He studies the timing of nature and the rhythm of outcomes. Grapes plucked too soon are bitter. Too late, they rot. The wise strike only when every element aligns, when the opponent has spent their strength, when public opinion leans just enough, when the wave of change has reached its crest. Then action flows like choreography, effortless in appearance, inevitable in effect. Napoleon timed the battlefield. Buffett times the market. You must time your moves in whatever arena you claim. Patience is not passivity. It is force restrained with precision. The untrained confuse silence for weakness. The Stoic sees silence as strategy. For every move you reveal, let 5 remain invisible behind your public actions. Weave a quiet network. Fund ideas that benefit your interests without bearing your name. Shape conversation through culture. Influence perception through subtle architecture. The greatest power acts through others. So when your plan succeeds, the world sees not strategy but fate. And yet, even fate must prepare for collapse. The Stoic does not worship certainty. He fortifies for uncertainty. Black swans arrive uninvited. Crisis is not a curse. It is a clearance sale on destiny, while others panic. You acquire. Diversify your foundations. Store reserves in coin, in trust, in alliances. Own favors you have not yet called in. When chaos strikes, you rise not because you predicted it, but because you designed for it. Every legend begins with myth, but myth does not lie. It simplifies. It distills. Steve Jobs was not just a dropout in a garage. He became a symbol because the details vanished into a story the world wanted to believe. Your story must do the same. Choose what to share. Leave out what dilutes. Construct a journey with trials, mentors, revelations, sacrifice. Make it repeatable in one breath. The Stoic crafts narrative not to deceive, but to inspire. For what cannot be repeated will not be remembered. At your height, let humility speak, not as submission, but as calibration. Admit a minor fault, publicly. Correct it with strength. Then return focus to the next ascent. The crowd demands vulnerability to justify your authority. Offer it once, carefully. Not to please, but to protect. A single misstep, controlled and redeemed, becomes armor for the real battles ahead. Understand that the modern world runs not only on truth, but on perception filtered through machines. Algorithms do not respect value. They reward repetition, velocity, attention. Learn their language. Optimize your presence. Control the frames others see. Shape your inevitability so clearly that even your critics hesitate. If others compete, they will find the path already paved in your shape. Inside your world, reduce the cost of entry, but raise the cost of exit. The Stoic knows loyalty is fragile without gravity. Let your ecosystem become so functional, so deeply ingrained, that departure feels like loss. This is not coercion, it is coherence. Apple uses design, religions use promise, you use integration. Let your tools, your service, your energy, your clarity be so complete that they choose to stay because leaving costs too much. But never let comfort calcify your edge. Reinvent before the world forces you. No advantage lasts forever. Reward those who challenge the status quo. Let your own people disrupt you. Praise those who question legacy, not those who protect it blindly. When the old model fades, let it fade by your hand, not by theirs. The Stoic build systems that eat their own decay. Convert power into legacy. Give, but give with direction. Leave behind institutions, ideas, structures that outlive your name. Let your name become function, not decoration. Posterity does not read intent, it remembers impact. Plant trees whose shade will not touch your face. That is Stoic immortality. But do not mistake legacy for resignation. The Stoic ruler does not vanish. He transforms. Train successors while your voice still carries weight. Appoint with vision. Depart with design. Let the world see evolution, not retreat. A lion alive remains more potent than a statue in bronze. So ask yourself why this path matters. Why hold power? Why sculpt perception? Why build systems? The answer is clear, because without it, someone else authors your fate. Power is not indulgence, it is authorship. It is the right to define meaning on your own terms. And yet even the architect must bow to time, legacy, myth, influence. These are not illusions, they are replies to impermanence. Machiavelli himself lives only in ink and memory, yet still stirs nations 5 centuries later. If you build with clarity, speak with precision, and act with restraint, your life becomes more than biography. It becomes blueprint, and when the final page turns, let it read not as surrender, but as design. You were not merely observed, you were studied. You did not chase power, you wielded it with silence. That is mastery. That is enough. If this spoke to your clarity and strength, subscribe now and walk with us through the philosophy of power.